It was meant to be a simple evening, just the two of us, a quiet dinner to close out a long week. But the moment I walked into the café, a sharp sense of unease hit me. She was already there, laughing in a way I had only ever seen for him, the man she had secretly preferred over me. Her eyes gleamed, her smile stretched wide, and she leaned toward him as though the entire world revolved around him. Every laugh, every touch, every casual movement sent a jolt through me. The betrayal wasn't in a single act, it was in the total disregard, the way she acted as if I didn't exist, as if my love, my patience, my devotion had never mattered. I could have erupted, confronted her in front of everyone, demanded explanations, and turned the room into a scene of chaos. But instead, I embraced a deliberate, heavy silence. I sat back, observing her, letting the tension build. Every passing second made her indifference hit even harder. She assumed I was powerless, that I would quietly accept her betrayal and disappear into the background. But I was far from powerless. I was watching, calculating, preparing a moment she would never forget, a reality she had ignored and a lesson she would feel deep in her core. Hours of laughter, flirtatious gestures, and casual disregard passed, and I let it all unfold, carefully noting every motion. She had thrown herself entirely into him, believing she was untouchable, believing neglecting me carried no cost. But behind my calm exterior, a plan was quietly taking shape. I had orchestrated this not with shouting or confrontation, but through patience, subtlety, and strategy. And as I watched, I felt a powerful sense of control. The satisfaction came from knowing she would soon see the tables had turned, that her actions carried an unavoidable cost. Finally, it was time to reclaim the balance. I stood, each step precise and controlled, as if gliding across the room. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Conversations faltered, whispers rippled, heads turned. She finally noticed me, realizing I had been there all along, observing, waiting, calculating. Her confident smile wavered. Her laughter, once dominating the room, was replaced by a flicker of doubt. Her carefully constructed world of arrogance and disregard began to crumble, and she felt the cold weight of it in her chest. I didn't need to raise my voice or confront her directly. My presence, my silence, carried the power. I could sense the shift in energy as even her lover began to realize he no longer held control. Every glance, every nervous gesture betrayed her panic. The room, once filled with casual chatter, now held a tense, electric quiet. She tried to recover, to maintain the illusion of confidence, but the cracks in her demeanor were unmistakable. In that moment, I understood the strength of calm patience. True power is often quiet, subtle, and devastatingly effective. Finally, I spoke, my voice steady and measured, each word loaded with the weight of every slight, every betrayal, every ignored moment that led to this point. Do you realize what you've lost? The words were simple, yet they struck harder than any argument could. Her smile froze, her eyes widened, and the realization settled in. She finally understood she had overlooked the one who truly cared for her, taken my love for granted, and that her choices had far-reaching consequences. Panic and regret flitted across her face, impossible to conceal. Her lover's smugness vanished instantly, shifting uncomfortably as he realized he had become a part of a story far bigger than he expected. Meanwhile, her attempts to regain control, a nervous laugh, a forced glance, a faint joke, fell flat. The room pulsed with silent tension. Observers could feel the drama, the quiet dominance, the undeniable truth. She was exposed, and the weight of realization pressed down on her slowly, painfully, completely. I didn't need to say more. Silence, observation, and timing were enough. Her mind raced. Where had I been? What was I doing? Who might have been with me? And above all, what had she lost by neglecting me? Uncertainty crushed her, leaving her pale, trembling, and vulnerable. She had assumed she could ignore me, that her life would continue without consequence. But now, reality was balancing the scales, and she was the one paying the price. By the time I finally walked away, she was left stunned, speechless, grappling with the consequences of her choices. The man she had favored over me shrank back into irrelevance, realizing he had been caught in a story he never anticipated. Slowly, the room resumed its rhythm, yet the impact lingered like smoke in the air. She had taken for granted the person who truly loved her, and now faced the cold, hard truth. Everything she thought she controlled was gone, and she had lost what mattered most. That night changed everything. She had been given a glimpse of reality, too late. The cost of neglect, arrogance, and betrayal. And I walked away calm, composed, knowing that sometimes the most devastating consequences do not come from anger or confrontation. They come from quiet strength, precise timing, and letting reality land with no escape. The memory of that evening would haunt her, a constant reminder that ignoring someone who truly values you carries a price that cannot be undone.